And there you have it. That's a story of how a ragdoll wound up becoming the manager of the Rainbow Factory.
Damn. They seriously sealed up all of those workers inside of the walls? Kinda makes you wonder how many bodies they'd find hidden in this place if the factory was ever abandoned and tore down.
Just those 14, most likely. Rags never had anyone immured after that. But the deaths of those workers sent a clear message to everyone across this facility. If they were expecting Rags to be any more merciful towards them as a manager than Walden was, they were in for a rude awakening.
I mean, I guess it's understandable, considering they lost their husband and all. But wouldn't it have gotten, better? Once time had passed and they were allowed to properly grieve?
Properly grieve? I don't think anyone would be able to properly grieve in a place like this. Fortunately, Rags still has some semblance of a support system to help keep them grounded. The senior employees, Mordecai, Leon, 2.0.
Yeah, about that. What's the story behind that thing? Seems like all it really does is wander around the facility, passing along orders and attacking anyone who steps out of line.
You mean you still haven't figured it out yet? Take a good look at that guy. I mean, really look at him.
Hang on. Rag's husband's name was Walden, right? And Rags just referred to 2.0 as Walden when they were in here earlier. Walden 2.0. Don't tell me.
No way! You mean Rags seriously made a whole-ass robot to replace their late husband?
Look, I'm not saying that's what they did, all right? But I'm also not going to say that they didn't. All I will say is that whoever 2.0 is supposed to be, that's not what he is. Not really. But I do have my suspicions. And it turns out I'm not alone in those suspicions either.
Ah, there you are, Eggsy. Sadly told me I might find you up here. The first rainbow of the factory's new manager. Kinda figures you'd want to come out and see it.
Yeah.
So, the red, yellow, and blue. You sure you're alright with using his colors for this one?
Wally's instructions were clear. He wanted to be given the same send-off as everyone else who perished inside of a rainbow factory. And his spectra had already been harvested and separated into their respective colors. I think the last thing he would have wanted would for it to spoil and go to waste. I guess this will be his final send-off. My first rainbow as this facility's manager, and Walden's last. Go ahead. Say it.
Say what now? Be kinda hypocritical coming from a man that smokes more than his papa's chimney. Just be careful with it now, Ragsy. They don't call these things coffin nails for nothing, you know.
I'm sorry, it's just... my mind is just a mess at the moment. And when I found these still sitting on Walden's desk, I just thought they'd help, you know?
Oh, believe me, darling. I've been down that road before. So, what's on your mind, hon?
I'm just frustrated. Everybody still sees me as just a rag doll. A cuddly, Therapeutic companion that can do no wrong. This place, it changes people. I think it's fair to say that I'm not just a ragdoll anymore. I've been through far too much for that to be all that defines me.
You know, I never did tell you folks this, but I never did like the way they did things over in Cross-Stitch. I mean, not giving you a name, always making you conform to what they wanted you to be. And when I learned they'd driven you out of the commune for practically nothing, that was the final straw for me, I think. You are a ragdoll, sure, but you're also an individual, a friend, a spouse, a parent, my darling. And now, you're the manager of the Rainbow Factory. Compared to all that, whatever in the hell Cross-Stitch expected out of you is beneath you.
Sounds like my Bubba's most loyal visitor is also our most critical.
Wouldn't be me if I wasn't. Can I tell you something? I've always been a little envious of Walden. For a long time now. Remember the first time the two of us looked up and we saw that rainbow in the sky? You were so captivated by it. You stood there marveling at it for nearly an hour. Meanwhile, I was jealous because Walden was able to do something I thought he'd never be able to do.
Oh, so that's why your boundary lines were always a mess whenever someone brought up the rainbow.
Yeah. But I didn't want to be a sore loser about it. So I met with him, congratulated him on his success, and expressed my support. And I thought to myself, well, at least I know that won't happen again. And when I found out that Walden was the one that had found you and taken you in, that jealousy really came back something fierce.
Really? You were jealous of Wally for taking me in?
Yeah. It should have been me. Long before you were ever driven out of the commune, I should have been the one to take you in. Maybe it could have turned out different.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe it could have been just as you feared, with me growing up in an environment that wasn't suitable for raising a child. It's okay. I don't think any less of you for that.
I know it. And I also learned how to count my blessings and be grateful to Walden for being there for you when I wasn't.
Can I tell you something? You know about the stories about the neighborhood creature, right?
Yes?
That was me.
You know, at first I thought that might be the case. I just didn't want to believe that you were capable of doing such a thing.
You want to know something else? Tom-Tom's disappearance? That was me too. I killed them.
All right, now that, I believe. Good riddance, if you ask me.
So, you're not mad?
Mad? On my trips to Cross-Stitch ain't ever been more peaceful since that whiny little plush toy vanished.
Just don't tell Mappa or Baba about it. If they found out that I turned out to be exactly the kind of monster they feared I would be, they'd be crushed.
I thought I already told you this now, Ragsy. I am a lot of things. But a snitch ain't one of 'em.
Come in.
Just me. Just thought I'd swing by here one last time before I left.
Ah, heading back to the city, are you?
Yeah. You're sure you don't need help sorting anything out around here before I go?
No, I don't think so. I've been helping Walden manage the factory for a while now. There's not a whole lot that comes up that I don't know how to handle.
Well, if you ever need a second opinion on anything, Mordecai or I should be able to help you out with anything that comes up.
Good to know.
You're sure you're going to be all right, kid? It looks like you've got quite the stack of paperwork piling up there.
It's just one of those days. Nothing a few extra hours in the office won't fix.
You know, I know it might be a bit too soon to be bringing this up, but Walden did hire you as his assistant for a reason, and I can tell you from experience that having a good assistant really comes in handy when you need to cut down on your workload so you can devote your time to other projects. Or just so you won't be stuck at the office for half of the night. Maybe it'd be good for you if you were to hire an extra set of hands to help you out around here.
I mean, I've considered it. But the senior employees have already been putting in the work to reduce the amount of work that I need to do around here. And that's with them taking extra shifts to help look after Leon while I'm on the clock. In a way, it's like having 7 assistants there to help me around the factory already.
I suppose so. But really, nothing beats having someone there that can help you manage this place and help get things done.
Yeah, but looking at prospects, sorting through resumes, and not showing any favoritism towards any particular employees. Trying to work through all of that is going to be a mess.
It's just a suggestion. You do what you feel like will work best for you in this place. I know I came across as a bit bitter about it when I first arrived here, but that Howdy guy really did know how to take charge in the wake of Wally's passing. Just saying.
I'll look into that. If I do decide to hire an assistant, I want everybody to have a fair shot at applying for the position, rather than just picking from a handful of favorites.
I'll leave it up to you then.
Wait. One thing before you go. Thanks for being here, Wallace. And for not being, awful.
Thanks, I guess. Kind of been trying to make up for lost time lately. I know I'll never be able to make up for what happened to Francine, or how I treated Walden, but
It's fine. Believe me, I heard every last bit of lamenting you did back in the dorms. So long as you keep working at it, you're all right by me.
glad to hear it. Take care, Rags.
Another meeting? So soon? Get used to it, buddy. We're probably going to be in for a few more of these meetings while Rags adjusts to their new position as manager. Just so we're in the know about any issues or major changes that might be coming up. Makes sense.
What? What are you glaring at us for?
I'm just surprised that Rags would be willing to include you in this meetup, after how y'all acted in interrogation the other day.
Look, I know I fucked up. I let my emotions get in the way and said something I really shouldn't have. But I still care about this facility. About Rags. About this team. Rest assured, Eddie and I will both be keeping our heads down, and we only plan on speaking up if it's absolutely necessary.
Good to hear. I actually need your insight about something.
What, me? All right. What do you need?
When Walden decided to take me on as his assistant, how exactly did that conversation go between you and him? I mean, I know you were the one that suggested that he take on an assistant to help him manage this place, but how did you manage to sell me as a prospect, given how he was behaving at the time?
Well, it was Sally's idea, for starters. A few weeks before you were brought to the factory, Poppy noticed that Wally was overworking himself again. Severely. Kinda like how he was the first couple of days you were here, with a few random attacks on the workers on production and in the lab mixed in.
Yeah. Poppy was a mess trying to figure out how to get him to settle down without getting into a fight with him over it. And I wound up mentioning how having a neighbor around gave him a little bit of time to decompress. He could focus on his work, and neighbor could handle all the minor stuff that took time away from that.
And at around the exact same time, Sally was keeping tabs on your activities as the neighborhood creature. And at one point, she wondered if it would have been possible to capture you and bring you in for observation. And that idea gradually evolved into taking you on as an employee. Not Wally's assistant, necessarily, but an employee.
I'm sorry. How?
I don't know. It was just a silly idea that I had. And at one point, it hit me. The neighborhood creature and the midnight maniac. Wouldn't that make one hell of a pair? And then I thought, well, what if the neighborhood creature was the assistant to the midnight maniac? And it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, no kidding. I thought it was ludicrous at first. I just didn't see Wally being all that receptive to an idea like that at the time. But Howdy, Poppy, and Eddie all seemed to be on board with it. So I caved. From there, it was just about pitching the idea to him in a way that catered to his violent and bloodthirsty behaviors at the time. That's where I came in, because I knew I would at least be able to word it to him in a way that wouldn't irritate him too badly or set him off.
Interesting. How did you word it to him exactly?
If I remember correctly, all I said was that he'd have a worthy assistant that was strong and fast enough to keep up with him in this place. And well, he'd have more people that he'd be able to turn into colors, I guess.
I see. Someone strong and fast.
Wait, Rags. Are you thinking about taking someone on as your assistant?
Yeah. Wallace brought it up to me when he stopped by my office to say goodbye. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized it wasn't a bad idea. I know that all of you have been really stepping up to help me out around the factory, and I appreciate that. But having an assistant around would allow us to do more, and take off a lot of that pressure. So, I wanted to run that idea by the rest of you and see if any of you were interested in the position.
Really? You're considering all of us for the assistant's position?
Everybody here except for Morty and Eddie. Sorry. It'd be obvious to the rest of the workers that I'd be favoring Morty. And Eddie... Well, don't take this the wrong way, but I don't think you're quite coordinated enough to handle the pressures of the assistant position.
I would have turned it down anyways. I happen to like it right where I am in the mailroom. No hard feelings.
Hey, amen to that. And I got a few good years left on the shore, but my joints still ain't what they used to be. I'm quite content with 7 years as this factory's head of interrogation.
Good deal. What about you, Howdy?
Huh? Me?
Yeah. Wallace did mention you by name, and how you really stepped up and took charge after Wally passed. And I know you know how to handle the workers as head of production. Really, I don't think I can think of anyone else here who's more fit for the position.
Wow, Rags. Really, I'm honored that you'd even consider me for that kind of position. But, my competence in managing this facility is really only limited to what goes down on production. The lab, though, that's a whole different department that I wouldn't have any idea how to navigate. And if something were to happen to you, I don't think I'd have the strength to keep the entire factory population under control.
Well, the offer still stands for those of you that wish to apply, and you're free to send me any recommendations you have to my office to meet with me for an interview. That'll be all for now. You're all dismissed. No. 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 Hell no. Fuck no. No. Come on, babe. Help me out here. There's got to be somebody in this facility that's interested in this position that's at least a little reliable.
You know, the perfect prospect for the assistant's position isn't just going to land on your desk.
Jeremy, I don't know if you can tell right now or not, but I'm really not in the mood.
Sheesh. What's got your stitches twisted in a knot?
Everything. Leon kept me up half of the night with his fussing again. Then there was the explosion down in the lab. Not to mention we're getting further and further behind on the paperwork. And now I'm dealing with the headache of sorting through applications.
Well, I guess while I'm here... Got room for one more?
You? You seriously want to apply for the assistant's position?
Yeah, sure, I'll toss my hat in the ring.
All right. Have a seat. So, actually, now that I think about it, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and your history with this place?
Where do I begin? I was first hired to work here a little over a decade ago now. I started as a simple line worker before I was taken on by Barnaby as a member of maintenance.
Huh, interesting. Were you causing trouble for the rest of the factory then, too?
Actually, no. Back then, I really did try to take this place seriously, taking to heart that working here at the Rainbow Factory, no matter how minor the work, was a privilege that not a lot of people in the neighborhood were given.
So, what in the world possessed you to start messing around with the rest of the staff the way that you do?
A couple of things. Firstly, I learned that doing work inside of events, checking air filters and stuff, was a really good way to gain access to all parts of a factory, even the areas that I was restricted from accessing. Secondly, I discovered that hiding inside of events was a great way of gathering information. Listening on the things that the other workers wouldn't dare say in front of management or the senior staff members. Outside of that, sneaking around and messing with Walden specifically was just fun. I liked seeing the rise my antics would get out of him. And since most of his threats and attacks were just him bluffing anyways, I figured, no big deal.
Yeah, those scars on your face clearly say otherwise.
Hey now, I did say that most of his threats and attacks were just bluffs. Not all. But you know how it is. You know how many times Walden's threatened to throw me into the grinder over the years?
And yet you're still here.
Exactly. I think the only time Walden actually tried to kill me, and meant it, was that one time when we were in the lab. Back when you and I were trying to warn him about that riot. That was definitely not a bluff.
Have you ever tried applying for the assistant's position before?
Ha! And be demoted to Walden's own personal chew toy? No thanks. Plus, there's no way I would have ever been able to take the job seriously back then.
So I guess that begs the question then. Why are you all of a sudden interested in the assistant's position now?
Honestly, I think I just want to be able to do more. I'm going to be real with you here. I've seen the way you've been struggling to balance everything lately. The lab work, the paperwork, making sure that everyone else stays in line inside of the factory, and taking care of a baby on top of that. It's gotta be a lot. And I've been finding myself wishing that I could do more to help. But because of where I am at the moment, I can't. I might not be the strongest puppet in this place, or all that big or intimidating, but I am one of the only guys around here that can say he's been able to outrun the unit that was Walden Darling. And I do know my way around this place. Production, maintenance, the potions, spectra extraction. Just give me a little bit of time to learn the ropes around logging and data and what to look out for when it comes to experiments, and we'll be back in business.
And do you actually plan on taking this job seriously?
Well, if I'm being honest with you, now that the ragtag group of rebellious workers I used to run with have all been effectively wiped out, there aren't very many people here that are left that would egg me into taking the job unseriously.
Huh. Very well then. I'll consider it. I do still have a few applications left to look through, but... And I can't believe I'm actually saying this. You're the most qualified candidate that's applied for the position yet. If you can prove to me that you plan on taking this job seriously by the time I'm finished looking through these resumes, the position will be yours.
You got a deal? Well, I guess that means I should get my fluffy butt back to work, huh?
What the hell did I just get myself into?
That's it. I am sick and tired of being woken up in the middle of the night by Leon's crying. I've got to say something.
Now, Frank, hold on there for just a moment. Look, I know you're having a hard time dealing with Leon's fussing. But stop for just a moment and think how Rags must feel right now. I'm sure they wish they could lay down and sleep throughout the night, too. Getting mad at them ain't gonna help no one.
You're right. You're right.
I've got a better idea. Why don't we go on over and see if we can lend a hand?
Eddie, you know Leon doesn't really like me.
Can't hurt to try. Oh, hiya, Howdy.
Oh, hey, Eddie. Hey, Frank.
Leon wake you up too?
Yeah. I think he's been at it for over half an hour now.
You guys came to check on Regs and Leon too?
Yep. You too?
Yeah. I bet they can't hear us over Leon's crying.
The door's unlocked. Rags? Is everything... Okay. Is it just me, or is it a lot messier in here than it usually is?
They've probably been trying everything they can to get him to calm down. I know I've been there a lot recently.
Same here.
Rags? What the...
Careful, Eddie. There's a ball there.
Well, yeah, I know that now.
Rags? Hey, is everything...
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you guys, alright? I'm trying to get Leon to calm down. He doesn't want me right now. He wants his Baba.
Alright. Why don't we see if we can get the little guy to calm down? And you take a moment to yourself to calm down and get some rest.
No, because you guys have been helping me take care of him all day. It wouldn't be fair to you guys.
Oh, come on now. We signed up for this, didn't we? Making you do this all by yourself wouldn't be fair either.
Now. I think I've come up with the perfect solution for this.
A bottle? I've already tried that, Poppy. He's not hungry.
Trust me, dearie. I think he's going to love this. Come here, little one.
Okay. What did you put inside of that bottle?
Just a little bit of sleep potion, that's all.
Sleep potion? Is making him drink sleep potion safe? He's not even a year old.
Relax, hon. It's perfectly all right. There's only a single drop mixed in, and it's heavily diluted by the milk.
And it looks like the bottle's already making him nod off.
Seriously? Why didn't we think of this sooner?
It's only a temporary fix. When he wakes up.
We'll all be here to help you handle it, hon. Now why don't you go lay down and rest? You look like you could use it.
Right. Okay.
Okay. All of you, Off to bed. I'll handle things from here.
Fine by me.
All right. Good night, you guys.
Good
Good
night.
night.
A leader that Walden can be proud of, huh? Bullshit. I don't even know how to soothe my own child without Walden or the others there to help. What the hell am I supposed to do? Hmm? What the? Now, what in the world is this? Hello? Hello?
Hello again, Ragdoll.
It? What is this?
Oh, just a little something Walden was working on before he died. Let me think. If I remember correctly, it was supposed to be something that would allow you to keep in touch with your little ghost friends. It's not fully finished yet, but I can make it work.
Okay. What do you want?
Still feeling inadequate, are we? Don't fret. There are still plenty of opportunities for you to show your ability to lead. The way you handled those 14 workers that attacked Walden was simply marvelous. But you can't seriously be considering that idiot Jeremy for the assistant's position, are you?
Well, what other choice do I have? And it's like he said, a perfect prospect isn't just going to land on my desk.
Maybe not. But I do have a better idea in mind.
Well, I'm listening.
You see that blueprint rolled up on the shelf all the way to your right? Grab it. There's your solution to all your problems.
The Resurrection Project.
That's right. I know it might be a little intimidating to look at, but luckily your friend Barnaby left some pretty detailed instructions to go along with it. With a few minor alterations, the finished vessel can look like whatever or whomever you'd like.
But then, that means...
Rex?
Rex,
Rex, stop.
don't
Don't
do
listen
it.
to him.
It's a trap. He's trying to...
Neighbor, please, let me speak. Rex, don't listen to it. They're using your grief against you. Please, I'm begging you. Just walk away.
Rex, please listen to Barnaby. That guy is Bad News Bears. He's trying to...
Oh my. How unfortunate. Don't you just hate it when you lose signal? Now, where were we?
I'm sorry, guys. But this is something that I have to do.